Hello, and welcome to Last Week in Gaming, where I'm your host Déjan Eade, and we'll be looking at my favourite news stories of this week. No Man's Sky has generated another bad headline this week, this time by allegedly refusing reviewers review copies of the game. Now, this has led many fans of the game to worry that it's going to be the next Spore, which delivered so little but promised so much. Now, these worries have been made worse by leaked footage of the game coming out, which, let's be honest, looks very, very, very buggy, like more buggy than a bed full of, bugs. Now, you've got to remember this is leaked footage before the game is meant to be released, and all this could be fixed by a pre-released patch, which is what the publishers seem to be saying to the reviewers who haven't received their copies, that they're waiting until it's fully completed. Now, this still isn't that good of a story, because for something to still be, not playable this close to launch date is a bit scary. But, hopefully it'll all end up being okay. Overwatch slapped down the bang hammer. Overwatch has slapped down the ban hammer on many cheaters, or alleged cheaters. However, while this seems like a good thing to do, get rid of some cheaters, which in honesty I believe is a terrible, terrible thing to do in a game, especially a multiplayer game. It can be very annoying and can ruin a community of gaming. But a lot of these cheaters have reported that they've been banned simply for modifying the character's colour. Now, if this is true, I have two ways of looking at this. One, it seems very petty by Blizzard to ban people for this reason. Now, I can't think of a possible reason for it other than possibly, to sell DLC later which changes the skins of certain characters. Second way to look at this is, why does it matter? Like, just play the game. Of course it matters what the characters look like, but they look pretty good anyway, and of course people want to put their own spins, but modifying a game even slightly is always going to give you the possibility of being banned, and it just doesn't seem worth the risk to me. And those are my two ways of looking at it, and I don't know who's in the wrong, who's in the right, but it just seems like a stupid story, which shouldn't really be a thing, Well done, England, you've disappointed me once again. First it was Brexit, then it was Theresa May, and now a complaint has been given to an MP about Pokemon Go. Now, to summarise this story, it's essentially a woman living in a rural household is being disconcerted, that's the word they used, disconcerted by people driving past their house slowly and sometimes stopping because there's a Pokestop opposite the house. Now, she's complained that they're technically making her life worse by going slowly past her house in order to catch this Pokestop, and it's disconcerting her. Now, I kind of understand this. I hate my neighbours as much as the next person. I don't know either of them. There might be a child. I don't know. There's crying sometimes, and I hate them going past my house. I stick out my window and I shout like any reasonable person would. But even I go complain to my MP about it. Like, it just seems stupid. And also, according to this MP, that this is an interesting case. Now, I don't really understand this version of interesting. I believe it's probably the same sort of interesting which Test cricket is interesting, where it can go on for days and be a draw, which is ridiculous, to be honest, isn't it? Honestly, I love Pokemon. I love Pokemon Go. It's gotten me out of the house. It's and do I look like someone that should be out of the house? No. I could easily quite become a goth with my skin tone. But it's even gotten me out. But because I love Pokemon, I've looked at the game quite a lot, read a lot about it, and because of this, I'm the perfect person for people to come up and ask for tips. Now, some children have done that, and I was giving them plenty of tips. and just tricks, because it doesn't explain much. And kids are just getting cheeky. Like, I got to the end of explaining it, and they said, thanks, we knew that you would know lots about it. You look like a nerd. And it's like, well, that's probably just because of my glasses. So I took them off and I was just like, so what do I look like now? And they said, a heroin addict. So, I did what any rational person would do, and I took my pants off and said, what do I look like now? And they said, a paedophile. Kids these days, like, it's not the good old 70s where presenters could do anything to children and they just stayed quiet about it. Number 4, the PlayStation 4.5. Now, this is some interesting news which possibly points towards when the PlayStation 4.5 will be released. Developers have been told that by October 16, every game has to be compatible for 4.5 out of the box. And by September, there has to be a day one patch to add this compatibility. Now, this doesn't mean that it's definitely coming out around then. It would make sense because, it would perfectly get before Christmas. So people can buy them early, get them before Christmas, or buy them at Christmas, and that it would make sense if it came out there, but the release date hasn't been confirmed yet, but fingers crossed that it's soon and not, just before Christmas. It's not going to be after, is it? Come on. It just can't. It seems like there's never a game anymore which actually works first day for the PC. This has got to get quite annoying, as it's hard to be a consenting master race when console gamers get their games so much earlier now, because they actually work, usually. But the new Batman Telltale game is no exception to this rule, with the game just not working PC day one. Now, since this has been recorded, there has been an update, but people are still reporting that the game doesn't work, and some people are even reporting that the update broke it for them, which is going to be even more annoying, to be honest. And my advice to anyone whose game still isn't working is to just do what any rational person do and become Batman in real life. Order your parents killed. I know he didn't do that, but who's going to if you're not going to? And just start a program to become a billionaire and create a sweet lair and the Batman costume. Great. That's my advice. Take it or leave it. I don't mind. Anyway, this has been my top 5 news stories of this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back next week in order to do another 5 things, hopefully.